Greetings, fellow songwriters and seekers. Welcome back to Muse and Measure. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. All right, so just to recap, I took a sabbatical this year, and I was very, very fortunate. I got a recording contract with Octave Records, which really put the year into focus. I was worried about being all over the place, being scatterbrained, not having discipline, having a whole year go by and have nothing to show for it. I was really worried about that because, I want to get a certain amount of music done in my lifetime. And I've got these songs in me that I want to get them out. But they don't just come out so easily sometimes. They take quite a bit of work. And while being, kind of all over the place and discursive in my ambitions and my thoughts and my goals, it's funny, as I was saying that, I was losing track of my thought. It's also in my old age, in my senescence, in my senior moments, which are becoming more and more common. I'm also a perfectionist, so I don't want to release anything that I don't think is worth listening to, and I want to be proud of what I do and put in the effort. So not only do I write the songs, I make demos of them where I try out all these different arrangements and things like that. So that's just a recap. So this album, I feel so fortunate for. It gave a whole structure for the year on sabbatical, and it's coming out in October. It's called Fool's Leap of Faith. I'm the fool, and I had to just take a leap of faith into this process and just have faith in myself, really, and in the process to get the stuff done, and have faith that I would find the discipline as I did it, and that I could take the hours and hours and hours of just sitting there with writer's block, which I went through. I went through a good solid 2 months where I didn't make much progress on the one song that I was really trying to finish, which was called Tide Song, which I've shared on this channel before. I'll put a link to it down below. So I was really dealing with all this. So that story has a really happy ending. I was able to, first of all, I had this wonderful opportunity to be able to take a year off of work, which who has that opportunity? What an incredible gift that is. But it's one of those gifts where, if you're given something like that, you really have to face yourself. Like, okay, you're given this thing. How are you going to manifest it? It's like winning the lottery. It really shows you who you are, what you value. And it brings out your really good sides, but it could also bring out some horrible, habitual things. And it just certainly did in me, On the positive side, I got to spend a lot more time with my daughter and just give her focused attention and care for her. And I was able to practice. I learned, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, which I always wanted to learn, the first and second movements of it. I haven't done the fast one yet. I had wanted to get to that too. But at some point, I had to focus and just say, okay, all this stuff all these little things that I wanted to accomplish on my year of sabbatical, they needed to take a back seat to the big goal, which was getting this album done. And thank goodness I got it done. And it was really because I had this deadline of May 5th, which was when the recording session was scheduled for, that I had to get this done. I had to get it all done. And not only that, I had to get it to the musicians, Clint Carlson, a brilliant drummer, Rob Weston, who's a great bass player and just great musical mind. He has co-produced and mixed most of Visit's records. And also, I had to write all these parts for the string quartet. I had to arrange, for them to come, scheduling-wise, the pedal steel player, all this stuff that I had to prepare. It was a lot of work to get done in a short amount of time. And so I feel very grateful that I had that deadline because it forced that fool into submission so that I got it done. I mean, I could have failed. I could have just said to them, sorry, I didn't get it done. Maybe, we'll try to do it again. So now what I'm facing, and as September is encroaching, is I'm going back to work. Going back to work at high school and teaching music again, which is a huge amount of time. And my real concern is that I want to record another album with Octave Records, and I want to do one every single summer. That's my goal right now. And I had a full year off, a sabbatical, all that time to spend on writing the songs and doing the arrangements how am I going to do that while I'm also teaching full-time? Now, obviously I have a couple months extra now because I didn't really start writing that album until November. I had been training for the New York City Marathon, and basically when that when that was over in early November, then I could really spend a lot of time working on the music. But now I'm starting in September, so basically I'm going to try to record in August of 2026. So I've got to get this whole album done. I've got to get at least 8 or 9 songs done, fully written. And I've got to write any parts that I want. If I want to have strings or any other instruments, I have to arrange that. I have to demo these songs so that I can teach them to the bandmates, but also to try out all the instruments. So that's my real conundrum right now. And what I'm really facing right now for my artistic process is, how can I take what I could do with lots of time in sabbatical and still be able to do it while working full-time? And teaching is quite a demand on your time, because not only do you have to, show up and teach the classes, you have to plan for them, you have to do all the grading, and I have about 500 students, and so it's a huge amount of grading. And so that's going to be my real challenge this year, is to find the time and find that discipline, especially after a full day of work, when I'm tired, and on weekends, when I'm trying to recuperate from the work week. How am I going to find time to do this? And we will see over this year whether I can pull that off. The new album is coming out in October, so I'm very, very excited about it. I'll say more about it in coming videos, and I'm going to play some of the songs from the album and talk about the process of writing them, how I went from improvisation into a full-fledged song, how I finished songs that had been sitting around for a couple years for the album. There was maybe 1 or 2 like that, because I was worried about running out of time, so I went to old songs that needed to be finished. So I'll do those in the subsequent videos, but I wanted to share with you what my current state of affairs is and what I'm dealing with in the coming year, and see if you have any advice for me. If you have any advice, any things that you want to suggest that I do, put them down in the comments. If you want to message me privately, it's tyler@musemeasure.com. But thank you very much for supporting this channel and watching these videos and giving me all this great feedback and encouragement. I really, really value it, and I hope you're getting something from it as well. All right, well, best of luck with your songwriting and spiritual practice. Until next time, take care.